What the fuck is up, everyone? Prison Metaler here, back with another fucking album re-rank, or should I say my current ranking as of 2024. Y'all may know it's Judas Priest. They've released a new album not quite long ago called Invisible Shield. So, enough talk. Let's go ahead and begin. Alright, since there's actually 19 albums now, I don't want to take the video too long, so instead of just naming the songs that I like, I'm just going to tell you what I like about this album and what I don't like about this album. Even though I'll do mention some songs here and there, but I just don't want to drag the video too long. So let's go ahead and begin. So, starting up at the bottom at number 19 nowadays, it's definitely going to be Demolition. Came out in 2001. This is the only one out of two albums with Tim Ripper Owens on vocals. I'll say this, I don't mind Tim Ripper Owens, but he does not fit in Judas Priest in my opinion. I'm sorry. I know few of you guys do like it, but to me, he just doesn't fit. Now, I do like him on Iced Earth, though. Don't get me wrong. I do like Tim Ripper Owens, but Judas Priest, not really. I know they found him. I know they hired him because he was a frontman from. I'm sorry, that was my cat. Because he was a frontman of a Judas Priest tribute band, but I'm sorry, he does not work with them in my opinion. Plus, I just hate that industrial sound with this album in the background. It's just the production is bad. Most of the songs on there are extremely boring. Yeah, there's a few songs I don't mind, like Metal Messiah, One on One, but the album in general just blows. I'm sorry. I'd rather listen to Virtual 11 than this, to be honest with you. At least Iron Maiden's Virtual 11 actually sounds like an Iron Maiden album, but this one does not sound like a Judas Priest album. It sounds like Prong for some reason. But anyway, yeah. I do not like Demolition nowadays, so it's definitely their worst album. Comes in at number 19. Alright, next up at 18 I got is Nostradamus. Came out in 2008. Now, I do like the idea of Rob Halford wanting to do like a rock opera type album, but this album does not do it for me. I'm sorry. This album is just way too damn long. Way too many songs. I keep forgetting the one. I just don't really go back to this album. I used to put this as the worst because it really bored me, but compared to Demolition, I do think this album is better nowadays. So, I'm sorry, that was my cat who moved that. Hey, sorry. Anyway, sorry about that. I mean, if I would go back to it, maybe just a few selection of songs, but yeah, this album just bores the shit out of me. I just want to fall asleep. I mean, cool album cover, not gonna lie, but yeah, Arion albums are better, rock opera albums executed well better than this, to be honest with you. So, yeah, Nostradamus comes in at 18. Alright, up next at number 17, I'm going to pick their debut album, Rock-A-Rolla. It's mediocre. This one is more like a blues type album, and I just barely can't get into it. I could barely get into it. I'll admit, yeah, there's some songs like the title track is decent overall, but it did have some redeeming qualities here and there, but the album itself, it's kind of a snooze fest for me. It's just, I mean, I understand they have to start somewhere, so I'm not going to go harsh on it. So, I mean, Rob did phenomenal with his vocals, just like his other albums. Like the other albums, but yeah, the album in general is a snooze fest. So Rock-A-Rolla their debut album came out in 1974, comes in at number 17. Alright, number 16 I got is Redeemer of Souls, came out in 2014, band's first album in 6 years since Nostradamus, which came out in 2008. I like this one better than Nostradamus because it's not overlong and it's not as boring, but I'll say this, I do not like the production on this album. Rob Halford's vocal sounds very echoey for some reason in this album, and I just can't stand his echoey voice. However, there is plenty of songs I do like here and there, but such as Halls of Valhalla, title track Redeemer of Souls, here and there, but it's not like almost 2 hours or such, but it's kind of mediocre most of the time, so I could barely say much about this album, so Redeemer of Souls will have to be at number 16 for me. Alright, Markapunk, be ready to be triggered, because here's coming up at number 15, Jugulator. Sorry. Yeah, I did like this album at first, but it kind of bored me nowadays. I'm sorry. I kind of fell asleep a bit with this album. Yes, it does have great moments like the song Jugulator in the final track. So, Thurdo Spires. Burning Hell's a decent song, but album in general, I'm sorry, I think it's mediocre. I'm sorry, this album bores the shit out of me nowadays. The reason why I put this above Redeemer of Souls because there's no echoey voice. I mean, be honest, I kind of don't like this sound of change. It kind of has this Machine Head type sound to it. Machine Heads Burn My Eyes. That's what this album kind of reminds me of, and a little bit of Pantera. But plus the guitars were very toned down as low, I think around C standard. I don't think it's drop tuning, but yeah. Nowadays, I rather listen to the X Factor than this, to tell you the truth. I prefer the... Never mind. I'm just going to say I like Blaze Bayley more than Tim Ripper Owens. Shoot me, I don't give a fuck. But, yeah. Maybe if I separated from Judas Priest's discography, I might have liked it more. I guess that's why Markapunk loves it more, but it's going to be where it is. And I'd rather listen to Rob Halford's side project Fight than this. Is this album a bad album? Not necessarily, but I'd rather listen to other albums than this, to tell you the truth. So, yeah, it's okay. Jugulator is at number 15. Came out in 1997. Alright, number 14 I got is Point of Entry. Came out in 1981. In my opinion, I think Point of Entry is definitely the weakest Judas Priest album in the 80s. Why? This album is just not very original. Yes, it has a lot of standout moments with songs like Heading Out to the Highway. Hot Rockin's a good song, but generally, it sounds like leftover tracks from British Steel, to tell you the truth. And despite the album came out a year after British Steel, I think that it came out less than a year after British Steel or something like that. And the album, it sounded very rushed. It's just nothing really new to the table. So, not a bad album, but it's just nowhere near close to the top, I should say. So, yeah, Point of Entry comes in at 14. Alright, number 13 I got is Angel of Retribution, aka, or should I say, Judas Priest's Brave New World. I used to like this album a lot more, but nowadays, it's decent. I'll say it's decent. Not as good as Brave New World, but it's a great Return to Roots album. It's a decent Return to Roots album. I should say that. Yes, there's plenty of filler tracks here and there. Like, I mean, it has plenty of standout tracks in this album. I do love the song Judas Rising. That's a great song. Hellrider, I love the song Hellrider. Really great song. But the album in general, it's decent on the most part. So, yeah, I almost forgot the song Revolution. I used to hate the song Loch Ness, mainly because this is a 13-minute track, and I thought something epic is going, but what the song is mainly like a doom metal sound, this Black Sabbath type sound, and originally I hated it, but nowadays I actually loved it. I actually do like Loch Ness now, so there's that. But, yeah. Angel of Retribution, this is the album that brought back Rob Halford after the last two albums with Tim Ripper Owens. Angel of Retribution, which came out in 2005. I'll say it's decent. It's not as strong as Iron Maiden's Brave New World, but I do think this is a decent album overall. So, Angel of Retribution comes in at 13. Alright, next at number 12, I'll give you a hint. It originally was my least favorite Judas Priest album, and then it dropped up to top 5. Now it's kind of a mid-tier album for me, and it's gonna be Ram It Down. Came out in 1988. I used to hate this album because of this, mainly because of production-wise, and I decided to have some fun with this, which turns out I actually like it, and it actually grew up in my top 5. Nowadays, it's now mid-tier for me, but I think the main reason why I used to hate this album is mainly because of this industrial-ish sounding, and it's kind of a step down compared to Turbo. Originally, Ram It Down, originally Turbo was originally going to be a double album, but third record label went against it, so they had to release some songs from Turbo and move it to Ram It Down. So, yeah. But I do think this album is decent overall, so, I mean, I love the song Ram It Down. Ram It Down, it feels like a step up forward to Painkillers, so there's that. So, Ram It Down will have to be at number 12. Alright, number 11, I might get shot for this, but I don't give a fuck. It's going to be Killing Machine or Hellbent for Leather, which album, whether you want to call it. I think Hellbent for Leather has the cover song from Fleetwood Mac. So, I would have put this a bit higher. The reason why it's at 11 is one song I absolutely hate, and I think it's the worst Judas Priest song, in my opinion, called Take on the World. I'm sorry, I do not like that song. I find it cringe, to be honest with you. But the rest of it is good. It's solid. I'll give it that. The album came out the same year as Stained Class did. So, yeah. I mean, there's plenty of great songs. Like Hellbent for Leather was a great song. Delivering the Goods. But, I know some people who's a fan of Judas Priest for a very long time would consider this as classic. I don't know. I feel like this album is slightly rushed due to the fact that it came out the same year as Stained Class, but it's not too rushed. I'll say it that. So, Killing Machine / Hellbent for Leather comes in at number 11. Alright, number 10 I got is their new album, Invincible Shield. Panic Attack! Panic Attack! I'm only saying that just to annoy Markapon. Since he doesn't like that song. I did that just to annoy him a bit. Anyway, yeah, really solid album. Rob's vocals is still strong due to the fact, I think he's 72 now, 73. I know he's in his 70s now, so. And this album still holds out strong for Rob's vocals. But, the reason why it's not up, I should say, is because it has some filler fest songs here and there, but the album is strong overall, and I definitely do enjoy it. I wouldn't consider this as a letdown or any of that compared to Firepower. I don't really expect it to be like Firepower, to tell you the truth, but I do think it's a solid album in general. So, Invincible Shield came out in 2024. Will have to be at number 10. Now, next up at number 9, I might receive controversy. And this actually used to be in my top 5, but not anymore. It's going to be Stained Class. Now, this doesn't mean I like this album less. I still like this album. I think the reason why I dropped this down to 9 is because these upcoming albums actually did grow into me, to tell you all the truth. I think they actually kind of grew into me a lot more than it has been. That's the main reason why, but I still enjoy this album. Don't get me wrong, I really do enjoy it. I really don't have nothing else to say here. I mean, yeah, it's a pretty strong album, especially in the 70s. So, I just can't really explain more about this besides me dropping it down to 9. So, yeah, Stained Class came out in 1978. Would have to be at number 9 for me. Alright, number 8. I got is Sin After Sin. Now, I don't remember the last time I put this at. It could be at the same spot or a little lower, but I do like this a lot more now than I have been years ago, to tell you the truth. For some reason, I don't know why. Like I said with Stained Class, I think it's because I like these albums more now. They kind of grew into me a lot more now. So, and it's a great follow-up to their previous album, Sad Wings of Destiny, which I will talk about that album very shortly once I get there. So, yeah, I could call this a classic album for many longtime Priest fans. So, yeah, again, guys, I'm not born in the 70s. I'm born in 97. So, yeah, I'm in my late 20s, so there you go. So, Stained Glass came out in 1977. Would have to be at number 8 for me. Number 7. I might piss some people off. I don't know. It's gonna be British Steel. I know some people may put this at number 1. I guess the reason why they might have put it at number 1 is because it's their most popular one with their most popular songs such as Breaking the Law and Living After Midnight, those are great songs, by the way. Now, is this album overrated? Somewhat. Kinda, but I do enjoy it. I mean, the reason why I didn't put this up at top 5, mainly because of the song United. It's kind of a filler song, but it's not bad. I wouldn't call it a bad song. It's just a filler fest song, and I just don't think that song is necessary on the album, but the rest of it is great. Like, classic songs like Breaking the Law. I like the song Grinder, though. Metal Gods, Rapid Fire, Living After Midnight, so much more. So, mostly a classic album, I would say. Definitely an 80s classic for many people. So, British Steel came out in 1980. Will have to be at number 7 for me. Alright, number 6. A lot of people hate this album, especially Market Punk, but I don't give a fuck if they don't like it. They can lick on my hairy sack. That's going to be Turbo. Came out in 1986. I actually had a great time with Turbo. Call me a pussy. I don't care. I actually like Turbo. Metal elitists might hate me for it. I don't know. But, yeah, I actually enjoy Turbo. Yeah, it's glam metal, it's hair metal, I should say, but I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. I like the synthesizer sounds, kind of like what they did with Iron Maiden's Somewhere in Time. It's still my favorite Maiden album, despite even though Turbo came out the same year as Somewhere in Time, but I like Somewhere in Time more than that album. I definitely enjoy Turbo a whole lot. Call me a pussy, I don't know. I don't care. Stab me, well, you can't because you'll be in a hospital. So, maybe in a coma or ICU. I don't know. But, yeah, Turbo will have to be at number 6 for me. So, lick my hairy ass if you don't like it. Number 5 is going to be Firepower. I was originally going to sing Firepower when I said that, but I suck at singing and it's going to be really cringe, so it's best if I don't do that. So, yeah, I actually enjoy this album. Definitely their best modern Judas Priest album. Could be a future classic, I don't know. It still holds up very well. So, Rob's vocal, like I said about Invincible Shield, Firepower came out in 2008. And pretty strong album, I should say. So, yeah, Rob Halford still has the strong vocal. I think this is a perfect Return to Roots album, but maybe I should call that their Brave New World. Well, not necessarily. Maybe their book. Nah, I wouldn't compare it to any newer Maiden albums. But, yeah, I definitely enjoyed Firepower, so very strong album. This is more like a modern version of Painkiller, so there you go, that's that. So, nothing else to say. Great Return to Roots album. Definitely one of the strongest Return to Roots album I've ever heard. So, Firepower comes in at number 5. Number 4. Nowadays, my favorite album in the 70s, and that is Sad Wings of Destiny. Came out in 1976, and that's their second album and it's a million times better than their debut album, Rock-a-Rolla. So yeah, I actually consider this as a real debut of Judas Priest, in my opinion. I feel like Rock-a-Rolla is more like a demo to me, but it's kind of a demo compared to Sad Wings of Destiny. Excuse me. Anyway, yeah. Classic album. Classic 70s album. Victim of Changes. Sorry, that was cringe. I shouldn't sing that, but who gives a fuck? But yeah, definitely a classic 70s album. What else can I say about it? What else can I fucking say about it? Sad Wings of Destiny comes in at number 4. Alright, number 3 I got is Screaming for Vengeance. Came out in 1982. I think this was at number 2 last time. I don't remember, but it kind of dropped down a bit down to 3. I still love this album, though. Don't get me wrong. Definitely a classic 80s album. What else to say? Great songs. Electric Eye. Screaming for Vengeance. Take These Chains. You Got Another Thing Coming. So much more. What else to say? Classic Priest album. I mean, just perfect. Perfect album. Moving on. So, Screaming for Vengeance comes in at number 3. Okay, number 2. I'm kind of a flip-flop between this and Screaming for Vengeance. And at number 2 I got is Defenders of the Faith. Came out in 1984. Definitely a classic Priest album. This one has more like a higher tempo type album, but it has really great bangers throughout this album, like The Sentinel, Rock Hard, Right Free, Free Will Burning, many more, Love Bites. Eat Me Alive kind of caused some controversy. I think some Karens thinks this song is about giving blowjobs at gunpoint, and they try to command to give this album a parental advisory sticker on there, and which came up to make the song called Parental Guidance from their next album, Turbo. Fun fact. So, yeah. Definitely 80s classic album. What else can I say? Judas Priest, Defenders of the Faith comes in at number 2. Number 1. Number 1. It hasn't changed. It's fucking Painkiller. 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 Yeah. I don't know why would I put this lower. Perfect album. Perfect metal album. Despite the fact it came out in 1990. And this was the last album with Rob Halford before he temporarily left the band and came back 15 years later. So, yeah, this is still my favorite Judas Priest album. I love all the fucking songs. All the songs are just top tier in my list. So, I just really can't say nothing else. So, Rob's vocals is just perfect. Songwriting's perfect. Hell, the song Painkiller. Classic fucking song. Classic fucking song. Nightcrawler's great. All Guns Blazing. Touch of Evil. Many more. Many more. Perfect album. Painkiller. Number 1 for me. So, yeah. Number 1. Painkiller. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. That is my current ranking for Judas Priest. So, yeah. No more, I don't have any more rankings planned. So, maybe not until a couple of months. I don't know. I don't have any plans for what my next ranking is. Or re-ranks. Re-ranks or ranks, I don't know. I don't have anything planned on it right now. So, I'll just leave it at that. Anyways, I don't want to take the video too long, so I'm just going to go ahead and end the video right now and get the fuck out of here. So, thanks for watching. I'm out.